we have some awareness messages for this week. So let's just get right into it for the week beginning October 8th, 2018. Hello everyone, it's Michelle Patterson here with Angel Souls, and this is your weekly angelic reading for the week beginning October 8th, 2018. Before we get into this here, if you'd like to get a personal reading with me, just go to my website at angelsouls444.com, the services tab. I'm hoping to get not just the November Gumroad readings up, which would be for the various signs, but I'm going to see if I can't get December up kind of early for you, maybe even January, and yes, I will be doing a year overview. So hopefully I can get those recorded and up for you. That way you can just dive right in when it is convenient for you. And again, that will be over at Gumroad, all the information down below. A special thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. If you would like to become a Patreon supporter, I'll leave the link in the description box. So let's get into the auto right here. Kind of some weird messages, but you'll see what I'm talking about here. Okay, so the first thing they say is moving forward, getting unstuck. So this is sort of evaluating our lives and deciding what just, this isn't me anymore. This could be as simple as getting rid of your wardrobe and replacing it, or it could be, I want to move, or for some of you, it might even be a little more internal than that. You might be discovering, hey, my family is, in need of this and this and this kind of help, and I never saw it before. It could be that sort of thing, okay? So it says, clear your sacral chakra. Now we can call in Archangel Gabriel for this, okay? And they say emotions, minds out of sync with emotions, systemic in humanity, creative life force, be at your creative projects, try something new. So they're telling us a couple of things within that statement where they're saying basically, we have gotten out of alignment. And I think that's why we see so much of what we do. People having violent outbursts, people letting mental illness go unchecked, and even making excuses for it. Do you understand? Or being in denial about mental illness. So we have that going on, and it does come, they're telling me, from an emotional, I'm not a psychologist, I have to say that. It does come from an emotional place. And now, spiritually speaking, we are out of alignment with our heads and our hearts, okay? And we're going to see some bit of that. And for each of us as individuals, there's something that's really going to be some sort of like wake up call, or some big realization of, oh yeah, maybe I should see somebody about that. Or, oh yeah, you know what, maybe I shouldn't keep making excuses for that family member when they actually need help. Now the sacral chakra, that is the seat of creativity. It's your emotional body. It is the flow of money, so you can work with that in conjunction with the root chakra. And it helps you process and enjoy life. So it's also associated with manifestation, again, along with the root chakra, sexuality, all of those kinds of topics. So these, I feel like these are things that we as people, we tend to shy away from. We get told that money is hard to make, or we're not worthy of success, or we're not worthy enough to enjoy life, or that we have to have our guard up all the time, and you have to make sure you feel people out before you let them in. We're really I don't know what's going to be coming up, but there's a worldwide stage, as always, and then there's us as individuals, and there's going to be something going off where it's like, okay, it sparks something within us to reevaluate and say, okay, I can't go on like this, like something needs to give, something needs to change. And then we do start to shift and change. So when they say be at your creative projects, try something new. When you do a creative project, it aids in the creative flow. And when you try something new, it actually trains your brain to go in a different direction or to kind of get rewired. It can be very, very meditative, you know what I mean? But really, it's more to bring us joy. So even if you're sitting there saying, and I've heard this a million times over, I'm not a creative person, I'm not this, I'm not that. Well, you better learn how to be a creative person, because that's kind of what life is all about, right? You're manifesting your own circumstances. You're manifesting, creating the life that you want. So if you keep thinking that you're not empowered enough to do such a thing, or you're not creative, so some people say, then you are going to have a hard time with this, okay? All right, so it says more to be unveiled about human mental body condition through events. So this, I'm not feeling like it's going to be, stuff is happening all the time. It does us no good to sit here and be like, hey, there could be a natural disaster. Hey, there could be, somebody acting out again. That happens with people, right? So, and we can't control what people are going to do or how they're going to react. But there could be something unveiled. So this could have been something that already happened, and we're looking at, okay, now we have more information. Now we're seeing that this person had this, and this going on. I think there's going to be, and I'm adding this in because I'm getting the feeling right now, I think there's going to be a lot coming up around parenting. And it doesn't just apply to parents, it applies to everybody. So being aware of how we raise our children, what we expose them to. And this is not to say like, okay, me as a parent, like let's say I'm a parent and I'm going to judge another parent and say, well, you let your kid watch YouTube, so that's no good. It's not that. Okay. It is, though, being a little more mindful about, okay, you know what, maybe that's not the best thing to show the kids. And when we see, because they're saying we're seeing the effects with some people who are coming of age. We're seeing some of them being, maladjusted and having emotional dysregulation. And, there might be some things coming up where we start looking at that and going, okay, what is that person's background? Shane Dawson, I'm sure you guys have heard, like he's got this whole series up, and he is following the life of, was it Jake Paul? I don't really follow those guys, so I don't I don't know what that's all about. But, it's going along those lines. But it's that sort of thing where we look at how people are reacting. For me, this coming week, I do feel like it's some event. It's not like a YouTube series, but it's some event that has already occurred. There could be a copycat event along the same line there. And then we start really looking at it and going, okay, quit making this a political issue. What are we teaching our kids? And it's not about, just what we tell them. Our kids are picking up on everything, okay? So it really comes down to, what do you see as normal? What have you become accustomed to where you're not even in your own self-awareness, so you don't even know what you're passing on to children? And again, they don't have to just be your children. They can be children of all kinds, okay? Like just out and about. What are you exposing them to, all right? So there's a little bit of that. Then we have these awareness messages. Now, the first one says awareness in Paris, awareness in Pacific, awareness in Australia, events in US, be cautious around oceans, make peace with the animals there. Here's what, because then they go, well, maybe I should just read it to you. Hold on. Let me turn the page. Something to be revealed, Pacific findings, discoveries, earthquakes in the Pacific. Okay. Now, again, timing around that, I don't know, but be careful around the oceans. This could be triggering, some sort of flooding or what have you. There could be unrest. I feel like in Australia, there is some bit of unrest. Now, I am not meaning to do predictive readings necessarily, but if there's an energy around something, I want to pass it along to you so that you're not in fear, but that you're aware, right? All right, so we'll just finish this out. Personal healing, try another way. We are with you with all love, spirit of angels. So let's talk about what they mean about, let's go to Paris. Okay. Does this mean something horrible is going to happen? Nothing horrible has to happen, okay? Or if we do talk about volcanoes or earthquakes or hurricanes, or that stuff happens, okay? It's not like I'm like genius psychic over here and I figured, no, this stuff happens, okay? So this talks about get ready for these things. Again, not so that you're in fear, but so that you are prepared, and that's mentally and emotionally as well. So last night I had a dream that I traveled to Paris. Okay, now I've never been to Paris, but in this dream I went to Paris, and I ended up getting stuck in this place that was like a train station or something. And I remember the feeling of feeling powerless and not being able to get out. And I wasn't in imminent danger. I didn't feel like my life was in danger, but I felt like, you know, my heart was thumping that something was going on. So this could be a false alarm kind of thing, but I do know that by the end of the dream, I didn't get out, okay? I did not get out of there. So I woke up this morning. I do get prophetic dreams. They're not always accurate, I'm going to be honest with you, or the timing is not always, you know, whatever, but I did have kind of a heaviness feel around Paris or in that region of the world. So does that mean something horrible is going to happen in a train station in Paris? I done told you my prophetic dreams are sometimes wrong, okay? Or, you know, they're off, or it's in, you know, it's in Belgium instead of Paris, or, you know, whatever. It could be a lot of different things, but when I'm left with a lasting feeling, it means that there is something shaken in that area. Okay. Then as I was doing the auto write Australia, the Pacific, we're talking earthquakes, we're talking potential tsunamis. Okay. This could be one of those things where the tsunami alarms are going off, but maybe it doesn't happen. Okay. Now, and I'm getting chills as I say this. Japan, something could be happening around Japan. We are in this time of, you know, natural disasters, and that's always happened, you know, but it's getting more and more severe. We all have our theories on why that's happening, but there's something else going on here, and what I want to contribute in this video is, you know, life is happening, people, okay? If you want to live in fear, if you want to go, oh my God, you're scaring me. You know, I don't really have that crowd anymore, thank God. I'm glad we have adults here, okay? And everybody can handle, you know, but again, you know, I shouldn't even say that, because what if those people are struggling with some sort of mental disorder? See, there you go. Like, I just did it. I just jumped to conclusions about some of what people's past reactions have been, and I don't know what's going on with that person, so I do apologize. But I think that's part of the awareness that's coming up, and we're seeing how people react in certain situations. This is not this, there is such a thing. Now I'm gonna have to call on psychologists to correct me on this one. There's a narcissism, like a social narcissism or something. I never knew about this. I just read about this, and it's those types of people who, you know, they act like, oh, I'm such a good person because I'm gonna go down to Houston after a hurricane, God forbid, after a hurricane, and I'm going to save everybody. You know, I do so much for everybody. I'm always doing this. They're not only doing it because they care, they're doing it because it makes them look good. And they're, you know, taking that attention and confusing it for, I don't know, feeling fulfilled. I don't know. I'm not here to tell them how they feel, but like, again, I'm going to throw that out to psychologists if you're out there, if you want to explain what that is down below. But yeah, I mean, we have those people that come up, and there's something around these events happening, these people who, or we have people going, oh, I'm going to pray for everybody around the world. Oh, I'm so worried about this. I'm so worried about this thing that's about to happen. And come to find out, they're not even in that region. It's not even going to affect them. But they're going on public forums and trying to get sympathy for something that's not even affecting them. Do you understand? So we have to be careful of that. We have to bring up awareness around that. Again, it gets a little tricky, because then we got to be careful about not judging. I don't have the solution, guys. But anyway, that's what they're bringing up. It's messy. We'll get there, I guess, in good time. But don't be afraid to let yourself observe, and to not just follow along with the PC stuff because you think that makes you a good human being. Being honest makes you a good human being. All right. When we see somebody who has fake empathy, like they're trying to just mimic empathy. We need to become more aware of that. When something doesn't feel right, something is just off, we need to honor that and look deeper. Okay, whew. Let's get on to the cards. Okay, so let's see what else we have going on here for the week of October 8th, 2018. They just said no magical excuses. Ooh, I feel like that's a comment on, you guys know, when it comes to the people in the spiritual community, I'm a bit of a renegade. You know, I'm one of those people, I'm like, some of this is just not healthy. And some of it just enables people who are struggling maybe with a mental illness or something like that. So there's no magical solution. And they're making me feel like warped. They just said the human idea of spirituality has become incredibly warped. And we've passed it through our, oh, I love this. We've passed it through our mental bodies, and it's hit all kinds of distortion, and we have warped it ourselves. We have manipulated it so that it fits our agendas as humans. And this is a lot of people, okay? This is a lot of people. So people are not going to like that, and I don't care. I don't care. You better buckle up, honey, because there's more of this to come. Because I have been at this professionally for 5 years. And I've been doing this, you know, quietly my whole life. But I mean, I'm sorry, but when I first come into the spiritual community, just my personal experience, and the first thing I'm told is I have to do things exactly like another angel medium or I'm not worth anything. Or having another YouTuber start threatening me and doing a whole smear campaign. Narcissist, maybe. A whole smear campaign when other YouTubers are, you know, just backbiting and doing all this weird stuff. Is that spiritual? Or let's take it off of social media for a second. If someone, I remember, I think I already talked about this town in another video, but I remember I visited a town and they had this thing, this like motto, we're spiritual, not new agey. So there was this pretentiousness behind their spiritual practice. Or with religion, we see that a lot. Religions can exclude people who get into religion. You know, they'll spew what they're just regurgitating what they've been told, but you can tell they're not processing, because when you try to have any sort of intelligent conversation with them about what they're saying, they have nothing real to say. Or, I mean, come on, what kind of judgment does someone have if they think that how they live and how they believe is better than someone else, and they have to put that on someone else? We kind of talked about that last week, I believe. So that I've never heard them come through. They're very, very patient, of course, but they're getting stronger and stronger with the messages. Not cruel, but obviously they wouldn't be, or I would run out of here because that's not an angel. But we need to stop. We need to stop fooling ourselves. Okay? Is there energy? Yeah. Is there a higher power? I'm pretty thick in the belief that there is, or I'd be, you know, doing this weird work for nothing, right? You know, I mean, but how we're interpreting it, what we're doing with it, whether we're taking an angel story, making it this super fluffy, you know, oh, I was saved by an angel story, which is fine. I mean, yeah, the angels come on in and they appear and they help people and then they move on. But I don't know, there's just this feeling here where we're just really taking it, and they're showing me it's being squeezed through the ego consciousness, and then it's hitting all these things that we haven't realized about ourselves. And it's really just twisting it up, and we've got the wrong idea. We're still taking a very elementary approach to our spirituality. Okay? All right, anyway, back to the cards. All right, that should do it right there. What do we have here? Libyan gold tektite manifestation. I'll hold them up here individually in a moment. I just want to get the full story. All right, so soul connection crystal. This is a master teacher card. Lovers. Now, that means different things to different people. But I think before we get into each individual card, let's talk about that. Sorry, there are these gigantic birds going by my window, and I'm a little in awe, like, what the? Sorry, I didn't mean to get distracted. But the soul connection, that's the part that jumps out at me as we're talking about all of these things. Like we're missing the point. Religion, beliefs, spirituality, it's not meant to separate people. It's supposed to bring us together. But if we're going to have these big ideas about what that should mean in someone else's life, and we're not really focusing on what we're doing, that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the bigger... You know what? If it wasn't going to mess up my shot, I would show you these birds. What is that? Hold on. I don't know what that is. I think it's a crow. I mean, do crows get big? They do, right? It's probably a crow. Ugh. It's really funny around here. They hang out in the trees when the trees, all the leaves have fallen off, and they just hang out in like huge groups. Very Halloween-esque. So here we have fairy stone fertility. So that talks about the sacral chakra, as we were saying before. And animals, remember they brought up the, this is crystal, they brought up the message of animals in the ocean. So there could be some call to action around that. Now, if you're, remember the social narcissism though, you know, if you're just self-righteous about like, I'm all about animals and humans are awful and blah, blah, blah. Elementary approach to what is good, okay? We can all care about the animals. I'm actually seeing orcas. I don't know. And actually, orcas have been like a big thing recently. Like every time I was just reading, what was it, Nature Journal or Science Magazine? Yeah, I'm a geek. I also listen to MIT lectures when I get a chance. Maybe this is why I'm single. I don't know. But in one of them, it showed orcas, and I didn't even get a chance to read the article, but I remember seeing it. So maybe that's affecting me right now. Maybe that's why I'm thinking of them. But anyway, more awareness around animals. And normally when that comes up, it does talk about telepathy. It talks about unconditional love. And we do have the Lover's card, so it could kind of go together like that. But I feel like this week, it's like, oh, wow, that's happening. So, and just remember, when you're somebody who pushes an agenda, you discredit yourself and nobody wants to listen to you. Okay? Just be aware of that. So, and this is the kind of energy, though, where even people who were like, yeah, you know, I'm not heartless, I love animals, even they're like, whoa, this might be like a Free Willy kind of scenario. Like, hey, we didn't know. By the way, if you've never seen that movie, go back and watch it, okay? It's like from, what, the 90s or something? Good movie. But yeah, we get into this whole like falling in love with these animals so much that we want to make sure that they're okay, and also cleaning up the garbage in the ocean, being aware of that. Scarlet, attract success. The number on here is 7, which is saying that this is divinely orchestrated. All right. Lots of things. Every person's going to be different. I can't touch on everybody. I just got flooded with different scenarios. So again, you know, you can think what you will, but if you want a personal reading, it's the only way that I'm going to be able to tell each individual what's going on. But take what you will from this. So we have a lot of manifestation, which is the sacral chakra energy and also the root chakra. Love, a lot of green in here. Sorry, I got to analyze it first, and then I will show you. Heart chakra. Fertility, understanding your own power. Taking a whole different way of thinking. Like, no, it's going to be like a miracle if we all do this like overnight next week. October 8th, boom, it happens, right? We're all different. We're all amazing. It's terrific. But this might have to happen little by little. I'm just saying. So Libyan gold tektite manifestation, there is that card. This is saying stop acting like you are controlled by life, right? Or it's never going to be better because it never has been better. You know, this is saying you have all the power within you to bring it on out. And that goes hand in hand with this attract success card, a root chakra color, right? So here we go on that. And yeah, I think this is people getting clear on what they want. So here's another interesting thing. Redefining your success. What does success mean to you? If you're really hung up on a situation, you are stuck. Okay? If you cannot have free flow, if you're still carrying anger, if you're trying to control other people's lives, that seems to be a big, big theme here. Then you're only working against yourself. Okay? So we have to let go a little bit. And so here's that Lover's card, the soul connection crystal. I feel like this is all of us banding together as humanity and really starting to go, okay, what's in the water here? You know, like what is going on here? Why do people act the way that they do? And it goes beyond psychology, because let me tell you, as big a supporter I am of you know, the psychological field and mental health. I'm a huge advocate for that. I don't think they always know everything. I've also had really bad therapists. I had one who was a malignant narcissist herself, and the most recent one I had wouldn't show up for the appointments. I mean, you take what you will from that. But I think this goes beyond that. This is us really getting into our emotions and, you know, really trusting our own instincts and our own insights about, wait a minute, it could be this, this, and this, you know? So it does have this feeling of not necessarily just listening to the experts. You understand? It's not going around trying to diagnose everybody, you know? We have no room to do that, and that's not something I'm encouraging. But there is also a lot of stuff out there of like, don't diagnose, don't diagnose, don't diagnose. There's this mixed message of, you know, educate yourself and learn kind of what's going on around you, but don't jump to conclusions. It's a delicate dance, okay? So we have to just be even. Now let's go back to the lovers part of that. Could that be some serendipitous event for some of us? Yes. Could it mean that you're going to fall in love instantly? Only if you are in that headspace, okay? And there's a lot of, that's another part of the spiritual community when it comes to romantic partnership that's really messed up. It's really messed up and it is warped. It is very, very codependent. It is, oh, this person's my soulmate. Oh, I have to wait on them. Oh, I have to be in an abusive relationship because they're my soulmate. Because I went to a psychic and they said, this is my soulmate. Oh, I can't even, all right? But it's coming. The day is coming where it's all going to crack open. And those people who've been saying all this, they're not going to have any room. There's going to be nowhere to run, okay? They're going to have to just stand in place and take accountability for what road they've gone down. You know what I'm saying? So even with just themselves, they're going to have accountability. The tides are changing. They're shifting. It's going to be big, okay? And it's starting. Okay? I don't know when exactly, but it's starting. They are showing me 8, okay? So this is for October 8th, okay? 8 is abundance. If turn it on its side, it's infinity. They're also making me feel like it's a cycle. And we start to realize the cycle. And some of us are going to decide to get off that train. You know, going back to the whole train story, all right? We're going to get off that train. Okay. All right. So then we have fairy stone fertility, which again, as I said, also goes into the sacral chakra. And this also talks about manifestation and creating the life that you want. We are fertile beings. We can let go and make room. I wouldn't be surprised if some of you, your home is changing or you're reorganizing. This would be the kind of feeling. Let's say you've always been a hoarder because you've always been afraid of not having enough. You're finally giving up on that and you're getting rid of everything and maybe you become a minimalist, right? So it's like drastic changes and just getting rid of stuff that you don't need. And that could be emotionally, mentally, or in your physical environment, okay? That way you have room and energy so that you're not worried about the little things that are around you and getting too hung up on stuff that doesn't matter. But, you know, just one day at a time. That's the feeling I'm getting. One day at a time. You don't have to plan out your whole life now. One day at a time. And then finally, we have crystal animals. And we were talking about that in terms of discoveries. Or who knows? Maybe there's new animals that are going to be discovered. Maybe they're ocean animals, right? But it does bring a lot of awareness. And they're saying delicate ecosystem. We're going to find a delicate ecosystem. Some of you scientists out there and biologists, if you're actually watching this, I doubt that you would be, but there you go anyway. Like there could be some exciting news to come, and also medical breakthroughs from not necessarily testing on these animals or doing anything horrible to them, but through sort of observing and then making connections. So some big breakthroughs coming through. And I'll just hold this up lastly here, attract success, but you need to redefine what it means for you. Okay, so there it is, guys. I'm going to start recording the November monthly readings for Gumroad, and we're just going to leave it there. Have a beautiful week, and I'm sending you so much love. Take care.